My card adventure began like most digital journeys with a sign-up screen. Name, email, password, so far so good. The site welcomed me and asked what I wanted to do. It felt like walking into a hardware store, surrounded by tools I didn't recognize. My plan wasn't to build anything yet, just to look around. I clicked Choose a Starting Point and landed in a sea of templates. Some were simple, others complex, all ready-made for different purposes. I spent time scrolling, clicking on templates to see demos, then backing out to look at more. I wasn't editing or adding anything, just exploring what was possible. It was like window shopping, getting ideas for later. I checked how it all worked on my phone, too, since most people browse on mobile. The experience was similar, just more compact. I scrolled, clicked, and tried not to get lost. No pressure to build, just poking around to see what this tool could do. It felt safe, no mistakes to make yet. I was just a guy exploring, trying to avoid getting tangled in the digital weeds. The templates were impressive, but I was still figuring out what I actually needed. I realized before you build, you have to understand the lay of the land. So I kept looking, learning, and getting ready for the real work ahead. No dirt under my nails yet, but plenty of questions in my head. Sometimes the hardest part is just figuring out where to start. But you have to start somewhere, and that's exactly what I did. Some jobs leave you with mud on your boots. Others, they leave you scratching your head in front of a glowing screen. Today I'm trading in my toolbox for a keyboard, and the only thing I'm fixing is my own confusion. My assignment? Build a one-page website using Card. No manual, no instructions, just me, the internet, and a lot of guesswork. It's a different kind of mess. Less dirt, more digital chaos. Every click feels like a gamble. Will it work, or will I break something? The hours slip by and the mistakes pile up. Just like any tough job. I'm not hiding the struggle. You'll see every wrong turn, every oops, every accidental refresh. This isn't a polished tutorial. It's a real look at what happens when you try something totally new. If you've ever felt out of your depth, trust me, you're not alone. I'll celebrate the little wins and laugh at the big fails. By the end, I might not have dirty hands, but I'll definitely have a few digital fingerprints left behind. So let's see if I can turn this digital mess into something that actually works. Ready to get a little dirty? Let's dive in. After signing up, I was hit with a wall of choices. Hundreds of slick, professional templates. It was overwhelming, like a buffet with food from every country. How do you pick the right one when you don't even know what you need? My goal was simple: a photo, a short bio, a few links. But most templates were built for much more: testimonials, galleries, contact forms. It felt like wanting a birdhouse and being handed blueprints for a mansion. For a beginner, simple isn't always simple. Too many options can be as confusing as none. I hadn't even started building, and already I felt lost. The paradox of choice was real. I realized I needed to focus on what I actually needed, not what looked impressive. Sometimes, less is more. I just had to find the right starting point. And that was only the beginning. I picked a random, simple template and landed in the editor. The page was divided into sections, stacked blocks with a plus sign to add more. But what was a section? A paragraph? A box? I had no idea. The template had 3, a big picture, some text, and buttons. I guessed sections were containers, but it felt strange. Why not just type on the page like a word processor? Here, structure was front and center, demanding I understand it before moving on. It was a roadblock, not a mistake, just a new way of thinking. I realized how much I take for granted in other software. This tool wanted me to see the bones, not just the skin. I wasn't frustrated, just puzzled. There was a logic here, but I couldn't see it yet. As I scrolled through templates, I found some in other languages, Spanish, maybe German. The layouts were nice, but the placeholder text was unreadable to me. I checked my settings, still English. It wasn't a bug, just a design choice. For a beginner, the text is a guide. When it's in another language, it's just noise. I understood the idea. You're supposed to replace all the text anyway, but when you can't read the instructions, it's easy to get lost. It wasn't a deal breaker, just another layer of confusion. Choosing a template got even more complicated. I felt like a tourist who didn't speak the language looking for a guide. In the editor, I noticed a small menu at the top, icons for paintbrush, gear, and a hamburger of 3 lines. Clicking it opened a panel listing things like header, body, footer, container, text, buttons. It was a map of the page's structure, but it felt abstract. I could click to highlight parts, but didn't see why I'd use this menu. It was like a table of contents with no page numbers. The tool wanted me to think in hierarchies and elements. I just wanted to build a simple page. For someone making something complex, this menu was probably powerful. For me, it was just confusing, more information than I needed. It didn't help me get the job done. I wanted to hang a picture, not see the wiring behind the wall. The disconnect was real. Sometimes too many features just cloud the picture. I needed less, not more. I wanted to see how my page looked on different devices. The editor had icons for desktop and mobile views. Clicking the smartphone icon squished my page into a narrow rectangle. Clever, but editing was cramped. Menus and buttons shrank, making changes awkward. I kept switching between desktop and mobile views, trying to get things right. The workflow felt clumsy, like building a ship in a bottle with oven mitts. For a first-timer, it was jarring and broke my concentration. Editing was only comfortable in desktop view. Mobile was just for checking. It's a tough problem to solve, but it made the process less seamless. The promise was flexibility, but the reality was friction. For now, I'd stick to building in one view. Mobile was just a checkpoint, not a workspace. After an hour of clicking and scrolling, I stopped and took a breath. I hadn't built anything, just explored and found a lot I didn't understand. And that's okay. The first step to learning is admitting you don't know. My impulse was to push through, but that's how mistakes happen. I realized I was trying to build and learn at the same time, a recipe for frustration. So I made a new plan: slow down. Forget about building for now. Focus on understanding the tool. Go back to the templates, but this time, look for the simplest one, the digital equivalent of a one-room cabin. My page doesn't need bells and whistles. It's just a bridge. Point A is where people find me. Point B is my work. All I need is a clear, simple path between the two. The fancy sections and layouts were distractions. Clarity is the job now. Sometimes the best way forward is to strip things down to the basics. That's how you avoid crooked walls and leaky pipes, by starting simple. I was ready to try again, this time with a clearer head. The assembly line could wait. So here I am, standing at the edge of a hole I've just started to dig. My first encounter with Card wasn't instant success. It was confusion. But that's worth sharing. We see polished websites, but not the messy first drafts. Even simple tools have a learning curve. The trick is not letting confusion stop you. My next step: find the most basic template and change the name on it. One small achievable goal. Then maybe swap out a picture, one shovel of dirt at a time. I'll keep documenting the process, the victories and the head-scratching moments. The real story is the journey, not the destination. If you want to see how it turns out, follow along. For now, I've got some digital dirt to move.